In this video, we're going to practice drawing a line on a graph based off an equation. So for our linear equations, we might see them written in two different formats. The first would be y equals a plus bx, and the second would be y equals mx plus b. They use the same information. Both of these equations will give us the same line. So we'll break down how to see where the information is in each equation. So the first thing we want to find is our y-intercept, or our starting point. So when we look at our equation, the number that is by itself, not touching the x, the one that is by itself, tells us our y-intercept, or our starting point. So if we look at this first equation, y equals -3 plus 1/2 x, our -3 is the number that's all by itself, and that tells us the y-intercept. If we look at the next equation, y equals 1/2 x minus 3, same thing. That 3 is by itself, and since it is a -3, that tells us it is a -3. So remember, our y-intercept can be written as a coordinate pair, a point. 0 always comes first, and then our starting point is the second number. That tells us where to go on the y-axis. So we start at the origin right here. That is 0, 0. So we don't go left or right. Our x is 0. We stay there. To find our point, we're going to have to count down 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 down. That tells me where my starting point is. So I'm going to plot my starting point at 0, -3. That's my y-intercept. From there, I'm going to use my slope to find another point so that I can create a line. So for our slope, the slope is going to be the fraction or the number that is next to the x in our equations. So in our first equation, y equals -3 plus 1/2 x. That 1/2 is our slope. In our second equation, y equals 1/2 x minus 3. That 1/2 is touching the x. That's our slope. So remember, when our slope is written as a fraction, right, the top tells us the change in y, and the bottom tells us the change in x. Or we can use rise over run to tell us what to do on our graph. So to find the slope, or to find the next point, we can use the slope. So I'm going to start at the original point that I put on here, our y-intercept, and I'm going to use my slope to tell me what to do. So the top number of our slope tells us to go up or down. How many places? In this case, we're going to go up 1 place on our graph because it is a positive 1. So if I start here and go up 1, that's where I'm meant to be. Then my bottom number, my denominator, tells me if I should go left or right from there. Since a positive 2 tells me to move to the right, I am then going to go 1, 2 places to the right, and that will give me my new point. You really only need 2 points to make a graph. We could draw a line straight through it and be fine. If I want to find another point, though, to make sure that I'm extra sure I know where my straight line will be, then I can use my slope again. I will go up 1 over 2. And that's where I'll put my next point. So then I should be able to draw a straight line through the points that I've made to create the line that matches the equation.